everybody, it's Merideth from Caridad, and this is Brother Nick, one of our tenants at Hebron, and also one of our workers in our work program. So he's in our workforce dorm program. So Brother Nick and I are going to kind of chop it up. I wanted to give a little history on ending homelessness, and people have been asking me to comment on the state of things since some of this current administration under Trump has made some changes to funding. So I wanted to share some sentiments coming from my thoughts as a homeless provider that's been in the game for 15 years, a federal training lead under the Obama administration that's gone out and helped other communities with their ending homelessness problems and looked at a lot of data in a lot of communities, as well as overcoming homelessness myself. And so that is my perspective where I'm coming from. Brother Nick's in our program, so he provides a unique perspective as well. So I'm just going to get into it. We're going to chop it up. And yeah, he's just going to ask me questions if he has any questions. So thank you for letting me grab you to sit down with me.
Thank you.
So I'm going to give you a real quick down and dirty, like the history of ending homelessness. So we've always had homelessness as long as there's been humans and civilization. Traditionally, the Catholic Church, before there was Catholics and Protestants, the Catholic Church traditionally would take care of the people and the poor people. Even in the early days, the Christians, the early Christian church, would also care for the poor people and look after them. Then fast forward to you have the Reformation under Martin Luther, and then you have the Pilgrims coming to the U.S. And so then both Christianity, Protestantism, and Mormonism spreads across the West through the missionaries at the same time, while you have the Spanish conquering, starting in the south and working their way up through Mexico and on into what is now California. And so you will have some tribes that subscribe to Christian faith, and so they would help in the same traditional way that we as Christians today would help. But so there were also some of the native tribes that were helping and kind of being missionaries, if you will, to help the poor people. So,
If you don't mind me asking.
yeah, go for it.
So, like, it's been around. I know it's always been a thing. Like, you think that from so far back all the way up to now that we have the problem figured out. Like,
Well, so there weren't homeless people like there are today, and so that's where I would say we're the problem. So the church in America, capital C church, corporate church, got away from what they used to be, a community resource. So kind of you have this, like call it the 60s and 70s, you have the hippies and you have what's called the Jesus Revolution in the church, and they become very focused on like kind of these rock and roll style church services and appealing to the masses and getting more people in and filling the pews. In that they kind of lost their way and their mission of being an actual resource. And so then with that you also see the expansion of government programming through tax funds. And so then the government starts taking over and starts operating things. Like you've got shout out to Ruby Duncan, who's from here. Ruby Duncan invented WIC, Women and Children, to help the hungry mothers. And Ruby is fantastic. So Ruby started that program because she was an unwed mother, and back in like the 60s in Las Vegas, they used to make you take sewing classes, and that was your job's training. And so her and the other mothers were talking about, hey, this isn't really helpful. We already know how to sew. Like, we just need food for our babies. And so she created the WIC program. She tried to tell the local and the state lawmakers, they told her, we don't have hungry children in Nevada. So she staged a sit-in at the Stardust, I believe, and she ended up, I think it was either the Stardust or the show. Somebody that knows your Nevada history, help me. Anyways, I know Ruby. Sorry, Ruby, I'm messing this up. Anyways, but so she staged a protest where she shuttled buses of kids in, let them order whatever they want, and then they got up to leave. And I said, who's going to pay the tab? She said, I don't know. We don't have hungry children. So that's how she got the ear of lawmakers and created the Women and Infant Children. In fact, one of our current congressional representatives from Nevada was one of the first recipients because his mother was an unwed mother. So fun fact. But so Ruby started that, Women, Infant, and Children. You also have like our food stamp program that was created to help. All this is created to help. So I feel like, I don't know, this is my theory, the church got a little bit lazy as there's more government programming, and then you have under Reagan, he changed how the mental health institutions were done, because really before Reagan it really was kind of bad and people could be held Well, nobody wants that. But you have to now be a threat to yourself or others to be put on the legal roll. And so that ended up ballooning out the homeless population when Reagan did that, and he gave the states the option to move the control for the mental health hospitals down to the local level. And Nevada is one of the few states that the state still handles all of our mental health and mental health hospitals. So we are really short on beds. And so you have to be a danger to yourself or others. And then in homeless services, you have to say, yes, I want the help. If you say, no, I don't, we can't help you. But if somebody is deemed mentally incompetent, they can't stand court. So it's crazy that somebody can not be mentally stable enough to stand trial in court, but we let them choose if they want to be on the streets or not. And I tell people, it's like leaving a toddler outside. You know, would you leave a toddler outside defending themselves? No, you'd figure it out and you'd help right away. And so that's where we kind of started seeing this ballooning of problems with from the Reagan era, but then also because of how they moved the beds down and to the local level, our number of mental health beds have gone down over time. So we have less and less and less mental health beds, so we don't even have the means in any community to assist people that are truly in crisis to get them the help that they need, because we are beds short in everywhere. So that's one part. Then now let's get to what is modern day, and with IDs. You have to have state IDs to get assistance in most places. In most communities in the U.S., you have to have a state ID. You have to be working on getting the state ID if they get federal dollars for ending homelessness. So if your community gets federal dollars for ending homelessness, they have to verify the identification of the human. You have to have a social security card and an ID to qualify for those programs. But if you're homeless and all your stuff's gotten stolen, you need a birth certificate to get an ID because of the Real ID Act, which happened under Bush. So you need a real ID, but to get a birth certificate, you need an ID.
Yeah, which is, it's the country that we live in.
So you're just chasing your tail. So we've been lucky enough to help people, and what you can do to providers out there, what we've learned is that I call it receptionist roulette, but there are other documents that communities will accept that are alternatives. Inevitably, it's also like a notarized letter from the agency. So you can call and see sometimes it's jail records, hospital records, whatever. But so there are ways to get a birth certificate. It just takes some phone calling and time, but it is possible. And once you get that, then it's fairly easy to get a social security card. But under this administration, they've made cuts. So are you familiar with Doge and what the Doge boys did? Oh, you don't know about Doge?
Please tell me.
Oh, what? Okay.
Don't make me feel good.
No, you're not. No. So Doge, you know Elon Musk was working with Trump, right? Do you know this? Yes.
Kinda.
Yeah. So he had his brilliant team of coders. Some of them were like babies, right? Like not even 20. So his baby coders, they just like to code and fix problems.
Oh, coders, like, so what people that fix computers? Okay.
Yeah. So what they did is they went in, and because we have a budget deficit by the trillions, trying to figure out where there's wasteful spending by the government. So Elon and his coders, which that's what they love to do, find and fix problems, went in and looked under the hood and were able to track money, some of it very corrupt under U.S. aid, to where it's going to these shell organizations by the millions, to where they're not getting any results. Some of them just got created right before they got the government funding. So there was all this corruption, including in the Department of Education. There was horrible corruption where they found like a bunch of parties and corporate stuff at the highest level getting charged. And then HUD and some of the other food stamp program, or Medicaid was a big one, where there was a lot of wasteful spending. A lot of people gone to jail for corruption because it was an easy system to kind of hack and do illegal billing through. So in an effort to fix everything, this administration, I tell everybody it's like ripping off a Band-Aid. Well, the wound wasn't healed. So even though they took back some of the programming and you had to fix the corruption and the waste, laying off a ton of people, including Social Security, had unintended consequences. So now you have to have an appointment for Social Security. And even Social Security disability, they're requiring people that are currently on it to do more check-ins, do more things. Well, you can't get a person on the phone. You can't get to an appointment, and you're disabled, and you don't have a phone, and you don't have internet. So how are you supposed to get there? So this is causing problems. So we have a lot of tenants right now that are kind of freaking out or have had their money shut off because of the drama. In addition to that, what we're gonna ask.
So what I'm hearing is, like, if there's somebody out there going through it like right now, like need help right now. There's nowhere that they can go. They can't walk into.
They can't walk in right now. You used to be able to walk in and wait at Social Security, and you can't now. And you've got to call on the phone, and sometimes you'll wait for hours, which this has happened to people use the phone in the office. They'll wait for hours and get disconnected. Or they get through, and they're like, sorry, the queue's full for the day, and it hangs up on. So that's happening too. And then people are getting some of their food stamp benefits cut, which is stressful if you're on fixed income and you rely on that for food. That's stressful. But then also as a part of the U.S. aid cuts and corruption cuts, they've cut for food. So like the food pantries, like here we get 3 Square, so they're going through budget cuts and nobody knows what's going to happen. So food pantries around the country are really suffering. Let me go back to homeless services. So that's what's going on with this administration. So under Obama, and I meet with the feds every year, we go to DC, we have talks, and every year since Bush, they have said we're not going to put more money into ending homelessness. We're not going to put more money into ending homelessness. Got it. Under Obama, for the first time in forever, Obama put more money into ending veterans homelessness, so it freed up a bunch of vouchers. So we were able to help veterans, and we still are, because of something that Obama did during his administration. So, which is great for everybody, great for the veterans. We all want to help veterans. We can agree on that. But then that was the end. So now we're like, what next? Because we still, our biggest, guess what the biggest growing population is in America? Do you think it's single adults, underage youth, families, veterans, underage youth with families?
Veterans?
No. The biggest population of homelessness in the U.S. is families and unaccompanied youth, so people under 18 with families. That is our biggest homeless population segments in the country, and people don't think about that because they only see the single individuals. But that's really who our homeless population is now. So that's how we did things. The government changed things. Started with 25 cities. We have a tool. Are you ready for it? The VI SPDAT, Vulnerability Index Service Prioritization Assessment Tool. Shout out to you, Ian Young. He made that. So it does an assessment to see if you need housing. So what we realized was that the most able-bodied people, so like you're able-bodied, say you come in and check in every day, hey, you got a unit, hey, you got a unit, and then you show up, hey, we got a unit, you're here, hey, remember that guy? Well, that's not fair to somebody that might be like 84, disabled, income, has a bunch of health stuff, just had a heart attack. That's not fair to them. They should be prioritized over somebody that's more able-bodied. So they changed our system in 2014 to where we have to have a coordinated system, and we have to have our housing intake assessment, and that is how we pick people. So that way we can't cherry pick our favorites, and that way the people that are really in need get the help. Well, the problem is, only with the limited space, only those people that are the worst are going to get the housing. And the only way you make room for more is you kick people out of that housing to keep people in, because we didn't make new housing vouchers. So there's incentive to move people along. And in homeless services, we don't get paid based on results. We get paid on how we transition people out. So they will call it transitioning to self-sustainability. So you could have somebody like Catholic Charities here, like Catholic Charities here, they could be at the rescue mission, and then maybe they did something and they got kicked out of Help Us Live in Nevada's program, and maybe they had like behavioral problems and they just, so they melted down. So they could have been in all 3 programs, and all 3 programs could consider them successful and get paid by the government for ending homelessness, but they could still be out on the street in that same year. And so that's, the government incentivize and funders incentivize transitional housing. So it's like 90 days, 30, 60, 90 day type stuff. And so that's the incentives. In our community, we built the, why can't I think? Help me out. What is it? Oh, shoot.
Information going on up there.
Oh, poopy scoopers.
Genius.
I could see it. Anyways, we built a transitional housing project that I cannot remember the name of right now. But so that was meant to take like the bell curve, Betterment, I couldn't think of Betterment. The Betterment Center, which is meant to take, the county gives you referrals. So what we saw in every community, not just here, is that there's a big old bell curve. So there's a big old bell curve, like people like you, it's like people are able to work, they're able to get around, that all they just need is pointed in the right direction, and then they can figure it out on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And so Betterment was built to take that massive number off the bell curve and put them in transition. But again, transition 90 days. It's kind of hard to get your life back on track in 90 days, but that's what we pay to do. So those people graduate and get out too, and they end up back out on the streets. And it's been hard to fill up because you have to meet all these requirements and do all the things. So they've actually opened it up to anybody. So now they're dealing with all the behavioral issues because that program was only meant to have this higher level of functioning people. Now they're taking in whoever to get the beds full. So it's kind of a cluster. And that's not just at Betterment. That's around the country. We're seeing that in transitional programs. So there's incentive to get paid to transition people out. You gotta have those full beds. So there's incentive to just keep churning the numbers. And so that's why we have our homeless numbers going up, and in communities, which the Supreme Court just ruled on this, that's why people were fighting to do the enforcement. They're saying, well, but these people don't have anywhere to go. And the community's like, I'm tired of it, Santa Monica. We shouldn't have a guy crapping in front of my driveway, setting up a tent, yelling at me when I try to back out of my driveway. So, and this homeless service providers are like, low barriers housing first. Like, doesn't make any sense. Nobody wants to hear that when you got homeless Joe pooping and burning fires in front of your house with your kids.
Mm-hmm.
So it's this perfect storm. So they had, it was what is it, Boise versus Grant Pass first, or maybe I'm mixing them up. Anyways, a couple court cases in the western region, which is where we're at. The homeless providers won. If there's not shelter beds, you can't basically punish people for being homeless and outdoors. The Supreme Court overruled it, said you can. So the Supreme Court last summer ruled you can punish people for being out on the sidewalk or just homeless people stuff. So now every community, it's up to them how they're going to enforce that. In Las Vegas, even though it's in place, they haven't really enforced it because the police understand, like, they don't have anywhere to go. And so to put it in perspective, one a community, and a lot of people just want you to arrest your rat, but like put them in jail, throw them away. That costs, in Southern Nevada, when we did this study in 2015, on average $50,000 that taxpayers pay. Emergency room transportation, jail visits, just the cleanup of damaging property. So taxpayers in Southern Nevada in 2015 prices pay about $50,000 versus $22,000 to $23,000 to house a homeless person for a year with case management in their own apartment. No brainer. But taxpayers don't realize they're paying for that. So now we go back to the churches. So with the shortage, in Southern Nevada, over 80% of our agencies are relying on only federal funding, and their funding got cut as of July. It's going to start to get scary. So in July this month, yeah, scary. So it's going to start to get crazy because then some of these agencies are going to prioritize their better clients over people that are harder behaviorally and kick them out because they don't have new spaces, so they have to make room, right? So the churches, back to this full circle, used to take care of everybody. In San Diego, they've got Yigby, Yes in God's Backyard, because they're landlocked with California. They can't do a lot of development. So the churches own the land and they can develop and do what they want. So they're building tiny homes for the homeless. So if you're in San Diego, you can give to Yigby, YIGBY, Yes in God's Backyard. The churches are developing these houses, and then the agencies will have a master lease, so they'll operate them, have case management, all the things, and work with the churches so they can place people in them. In Austin, they built the world's largest tiny home community. It's amazing. We need to go visit. I'm taking the whole team to take the new team, the 3.0 team. It's amazing. They're tiny homes for the homeless. Like I said, it's the world's largest tiny home community. When we went, there were 200. Now I think there's like...
Are the houses tiny?
Yes, but they're awesome. It's like little mansions. Like, you would want to live there. Every time we go, we don't want to leave. It's that cool.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's the most amazing community. So
Shout
that's
out to them.
Mobile Loaves and Fishes, Alan Graham. And then also in Portland, they have tiny home communities, which I've toured. And the tiny home communities are run by the city, but they're policed and self-governed by the people. So sometimes what happens with that, and this is the case when we toured in Portland, the strongest personalities end up running everything, and it's not always the strongest personalities that you want to run everything.
Yeah.
So there's good and bad in all of it. That's kind of like I would say the best models in what we have right now. Traditionally in homeless services, and this happened in Southern California, is they give fair housing tax credits, so the developer makes a lot of money and not that many housing complexes are built, or there can be a clause where after so many years they can sell it. So they'll build it for the homeless, and then maybe like 10, 15, 20 years down the road, they kick everybody out, raise the rates, and they've got a beautiful building. So the developer always makes money on those developments.
Are there any tiny homes out here in Las Vegas or Nevada?
No. So we had a group, shout out to my boy Joey. We had a group, Food Not Bombs, and they bought land and they built like these huts. So they were cool. They had doors and everything, and they had like outdoor showers. And they got shut down because they didn't have the proper permitting for them. So they actually got bulldozed.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that stunk.
That's crazy.
But I mean, I don't even know. It's like the carrot and stick. I don't know if they would have ever given them the permitting to do that. You know?
I think so.
I don't know. Then we have another company out here called Boxable, and so Boxable are these prefabbed, which back to Elon Musk. Elon Musk is an investor and bought a bunch of them for Tesla and SpaceX. And so they're like little modular pods that you can just drop them down, fold them up, and then they're printed homes. And so they're little tiny homes too that have like a bathroom, everything. They're like little studios.
Wait.
Yeah, there's some up north in North Las Vegas, right off Las Vegas Boulevard.
What? Like how?
Yeah, if you go past Broad Acres, you can see the Boxables up there. They're really cool. It's a
Box
Boxables.
house?
Boxables are from Las Vegas, and they have some box homes up there.
Is it like cardboard?
No,
Oh.
they're good. They're good equipment. Like it's just.
So these are real houses.
Oh yeah, they have bathrooms and everything.
Wow.
Oh, front porches. Yeah, I just spit. Sorry, front porches.
No,
They're awesome. But so there's all these cool solutions. Then there's another company that's out of Austin that they built a 3D printed home, and initially they weren't able to do it because of the building requirements in the U.S. And now they've replicated and been able to 3D print the homes in Austin. They used to be about 10,000 when we were talking about, now they're about probably like 15 to 20. But still, a concrete house in the desert would be better. We had a tiny home in Airstream Park here. It's still in existence. I'll have to show you. And it's on 11th and Fremont. For anybody that knows it, it's the Fergusons. And those were built out of tumbleweeds and Airstreams. And so those tumbleweeds are about $80,000 a piece. And the tumbleweeds are $80,000. I forget how much the Airstreams are, 50 to 70, I believe. So really beautiful products, but sitting out in the desert.
You say tumbleweeds, like what? They're made out of tumbleweeds?
No.
Oh.
So they're made out of wood. They're wooden tiny homes.
Right.
So they're these little cool wooden tiny homes that are on wheels. So you could like have a RV park and set them up there and hook them up to everything.
Okay.
And they've got little porches. It's got an upstairs. It's got a bedroom and a little kitchen area. It's super cool.
I want to see it.
Oh yeah, I'll have to show you pictures. But so
Shout out to the tiny homes.
so that the Fergusons was the first to do that here, but everything is falling apart because our climate is so extreme, hot, cold, the wind, everything. They haven't been able to last, so they started falling apart even after a year, and they're incredibly hard to keep hot, cold, keep hot water. Like, so it's just not real practical. For as much money as it is, it's not a good solution. So what we're doing is a little bit different too, because this Hebron where we're sitting was an old motel and a distressed asset. So what we did was we brought it up to code when we took over. It had a lot of stuff, like there was plumbing that wasn't plumbed right, that was running into the wall, like just there was so much that was wonky here. And so we brought it all up to code, and we have a master lease with the owner, and so we're renting out apartments. So what we want to do is do more of that. But going back to the church thing.
Shout out to Hebron.
So the church used to do that and help that. So I think now that we know what we know, homelessness is going to get worse. The Supreme Court ruled against it. The Trump administration pulled a bunch of funding. It's going to get worse.
When you say they pulled a bunch of funding, like what funding did they pull from?
Well, there's the food stamps. There's some to Social Security benefits, and then there's some to homelessness, homeless services.
If I'm not mistaken, I do remember. I think I read up in the newspaper where they were saying that they cut back on some of the food banks.
Yeah, that was USAID. That was that big cut, and so they're cutting all these programs. And so what I would say, and the challenge I'm putting out there, this is a long-winded answer. If the churches were to step up and not just give out sandwiches or do like a once-a-week feeding, like there's a lot of churches that just do a feel-good like sandwich, or they serve at the rescue mission or whatever. If they would step up and really walk alongside of these agencies that are in their town, that have been doing it for years, like in our town, Help Us Southern Nevada is our biggest non-veteran housing provider. It's U.S. Vets for Veterans, and Salvation Army also helps as well. if they would help with some of these existing programs, it would make a difference. You know, a church could sponsor a room for a month. They could, you know, do a food pantry food drive. Don't just give canned vegetables. Do a protein drive. Things like that are needed. We always do sock and underwear drives, adult diapers, like things that would normally be built into these food pantries or some of these programming. You know, sponsor some people through an agency for ID assistance. You cover the cost of their birth certificate. These are all easy ways that if every church would just step up, based on the data, it would end homelessness tomorrow. Like, it doesn't even matter Christian. Any faith-based congregation in the U.S., if they step up in these ways, it would end homelessness.
Baltimore as a president. First lady.
No way.
So what do you think could be a start for just Southside society to work towards ending homelessness? Like what would be the first step? What would you take if you don't?
Yeah, I think the church community and just even private sector businesses and just citizens, if they truly get invested in these agencies, like I said, even if you can't give like things like agencies like us, we need furniture for our rooms because we can't afford it, but we generate revenue by renting out the rooms. You know, you can give in multiple ways. Get connected to your local partners. See who's doing what. We even have. I told you about the dog shelter. We even have Noah's Animal House that helps. Yep, that helps board the dogs of homeless people so they can run their errands, go into the shelter, whatever they need to do, and their animals are safe. So I mean, if you don't like the humans, find a pet charity. There are homeless pet charities too out there. So yeah, I tell everybody, just find the charity that's near and dear to your heart. See what they do. See how you can help. Don't come in and tell them what you're going to give them. Don't give them your dirty crap. We don't want your dirty clothes. We don't want them to live in launder. If you don't like it, we don't want it. Yeah. And don't give us the crap out of your cupboard that you don't like either. Like 9 times out of 10 people don't want it, or they don't have the means to always cook. A lot of people only have microwaves. So yeah, protein and things that people can cook in a microwave, things like that, or pop open a can and eat if they're on the streets. So yeah, just look into your local landscape, see what's there. Every community has a continuum of care, COC, continuum of care board if they have homeless services. Your COC is all of the providers together. It's federally mandated, all in one place working together to end homelessness. So that's even a great start too. Start there, see who's running that in your community, and they can point you in the right direction of the agencies.
That was going to be my next question. What would be the advice that you give to the current homeless person as far as taking a step towards getting on their feet?
Get your ID. Get your ID and get a housing assessment first. Because then that at least gets you in the system, and whatever agency is doing that, 9 times out of 10 will give you the resources that you need to do whatever. And I tell people, if you haven't burned all your bridges, if there's a friend you can call, like, hey, can I crash with you for a week? I'm gonna do some job interviews, or hey, sorry mom, like I know I messed up, but could you give me a week and I'm gonna do job interviews, I'm gonna do this. Sometimes that's all people need to get back on their feet. So what are your immediate resources? We've got a person right here that's very active in his Mormon church. When he falls behind, his local church pays his rent. So it's also get involved in a community. It doesn't have to be a faith community, whatever it is. Get involved in that community too, so they can get to know you, know your faith, because then they're going to be invested in you and also lifting you up. You need that support system.
So do you think that by you say we're going to get worse in July?
Oh, it's getting already. We're there because they're going to cut programs.
What do you think that the people can do to brace for the impact?
Well, like I said, be active. Go get involved in your community. Support the local charities before they go out of business. And yeah, just get involved. Step up.
I think the charities are going to go out of business?
Some of them absolutely, based on the funding, because they had 100% government funding and they're losing it. It's scary. But I tell people too, some churches try to open up their doors and do shelter, like Family Promise operates that way. That might not be for you. That's a lot of hassle, stress that most churches aren't equipped to handle. Like that might be too far for you. But if you could do something like a Yigbee, or if you could support your local, food pantry by doing constant drives for them or something, like stuff like that people can do, and that's real tangible.
Why are you what was it that made you so sincere and so genuine about just dealing with homeless and the veterans?
Well, the veterans, I volunteered for that job, but because nobody else wanted to do it. That's the true story.
Somebody got to do it.
Nobody else in the community wanted to do it. They said it was too much work, but we ended Veterans Homelessness in 2015. Shout out to you, Southern Nevada. Yeah, I was homeless. So being homeless myself and seeing what I was like, you didn't know that? That's my whole story and why the charity started.
I want to know.
Yeah, I was homeless with a master's degree. So I thought if it could happen to me, it could happen to anybody.
Homeless with a master's degree.
And so I think that's why, for me, it's learning the data, learning the history, learning the stats. Because people might not want to hear our warm, fuzzy stories or be excited to see you and you're doing so great. Some people are never going to relate to that because they just don't care, and that's fine. They're not wired like that. My husband's like that. But he's a good human, but he does not care like that about people. But data and stats, people can understand. When I told you that stat of how much it costs people, like we're like, wait, what? And then if you do, we used to do a cost per client breakdown for our services. We were the cheapest cost in the valley. We're also measuring apples to apples. So why we do our stuff our way is to save money, because one, we don't duplicate services. Two, we keep our radius that we serve in a 2-mile radius to keep our costs down because everybody's on foot. That way we don't have to have cars, transportation, we partner with Lyft if we go outside of it. But so yeah, there's ways to do it on the cheap. But so yeah, that's my passion. I'm like, man, we're not going out of business. That's why I'm so customer service focused, is because I'm like, I've been to places where they scream at you to get in line or scream at you and you're just so tired, you're just trying to figure out like what the heck, and they're like, well, you didn't stand right, and you gotta get out, and you're just like, oh gosh.
Right.
So yeah, so I've experienced it firsthand, and so I'm like, I want to do it, and I want to do it better.
So what was one of the first steps that you took to leave? Like, did you go and get a job? Did you?
Well, I had 2 jobs when I was homeless, so I was working in San Diego with 2 jobs, but I couldn't afford to live indoors because San Diego was expensive. So yeah, I ended up getting a cleaning job, and the lady I was working for ended up going into a nursing home, and she had this cat. She's since passed, R.I.P. I don't like cats. I'm allergic.
Dogs.
And the cat couldn't meow, so I'd be like, meh.
Dogs is cool. I love cats.
I'm so allergic to cats. But her precious baby, she wanted me to take it up to the nursing home to visit her, and then she wanted to make sure that she lived by the beach in San Diego. She wanted to make sure that her place wasn't sold for a condo because that's what her husband had built with his own hands. And so she wrote it in and lawyered it up. So as long as I brought that cat to her to see her, and I could have her car, I could have her place, and I could live there as long as she was alive, and I brought the cat up to it. So that's literally how I got out of homelessness, because I couldn't afford to pay rent anymore.
Is there like any like stories that just like really stick out to you that you remember helping people? Like, let's say for instance, you help a disabled veteran get off the street, and maybe they might have lost it as far as, oh my God, thank you.
Lost it, like lost his housing, or lost it
just like melted.
Oh, I mean, we see that all the time.
That type of stuff. That's the type of stuff I would be like, man.
Well, and that's why we made this program this way, because we realized
this program is not that life.
The system, like sometimes people don't have years or days or whatever, so it's like we meet you, let's just move you in here and we'll work with you to pay what you can. And this is why we need more. We don't have any grants right now. We're growing out of business every other day, but we struggle to get grants because we don't have an end date. Because part of our programming serves like disabled veterans, which some of them are like, we've had World War II vets in our program. They're not going to graduate to self-sufficiency and get a job. So I told the former Secretary of HUD, I said, we're kind of pre-hospice for some folks. Like, we can't have an end date in transition. Like, some people maybe need to be on our subsidies forever. And so we're one of the few programs in the country that's like that. All the other housing programs aren't like that. But that's also why we don't have government funding, is because people don't want to support anything if there's not an end date. But we have a 90% success rate, and we've dropped the crime by 87% in the areas where we operate. So, I mean, we're doing something, right?
Man. So, like, is the program, like, this program, I know it's helped me a lot for sure. Like, I don't know, like, I would probably be either not with us or, you know, back where I came from for this program. So I can vouch for that. Like, y'all did more than enough for me. Like, ain't nobody ever like looked out for me and really helped me, was patient with me, and guided me to, man. So what would you say to the people that's up out there that's really looking, that's really just feel like they're just helpless and just ain't got nowhere to turn? And it's hot outside too.
It's so.
Oh my gosh.
Don't give up. Get connected to an agency, get a housing assessment. And like I said, if you can work your network, and maybe even if it's to go in together and get in together and split a room, do something like that. And shelter is not fun, and sometimes you get your stuff stolen. I get it; it sucks to go there, but sometimes, like even getting connected to the shelter staff so they can help you get more resources is what it takes. Like not going into the shelter, but like going through the line or whatever. Like they do have case workers on site that can help and have resources too. So I tell people sometimes you just gotta go and go to the agency, which stinks, because nothing's easy to get to when you're on foot or don't have a bus pass. That's another thing. Churches, you can donate and pay for bus passes, so agencies can give those out, or street outreach agencies can give them out. We have Help Us in Nevada here. They're superstars. They go out and they go everywhere where the people are, all around the valley, all around this county.
They're gonna pull up on you.
Well, but they'll go out in the desert, like in Laughlin and everything, and they'll go out in the crazy hills and stuff and go out looking for folks to help them. So I mean, they go everywhere. So they're awesome. But yes, even like an agency like that, because then once you get connected with somebody in their team or an outreach person, they'll keep checking in on you at least, water, what do you need, and try to help you get to those resources. In Southern Nevada, we have what's called cooling stations, and those are advertised all over. You can call 211 for them, but those are places that are open in the days over 100 and also open in the cool months, where you can just go in, either warm up or cool down, have water, and just sit in the air conditioning. So that's an option too if you just need to get in. And libraries. Libraries are a great space. You can get on the computer. You can sit for free, use your resources. Yeah, go to the bathroom. The libraries are fantastic. I see people taking naps there. That's fine too.
Where do you see Caridad in the next 5 years?
The hope.
Where would you hope?
Yeah, the hope. I want to be financially stable. That's the hope. But then also, what we want to do is we want to form a for-profit management company, because we've been so successful at Hebron in building this restorative community and helping lower the crime and working with the surrounding businesses to improve the overall quality of the neighborhood. Our goal is then we want to take over and work with property owners to do more of their distress assets. So say a property manager has got a bunch of fines, they're trying to bring it up to code. We want to come in, be the property management team, help you clean it up, and then lease it up to get something like we have, where we keep rebuilding these restorative communities. We also want to work on some grants. We're working on grants to show a healthy community, because we've got, you just went on our walk today. We've got health and wellness programming, we've got heart math meditation, trauma recovery yoga, weekly walks, all this cool stuff. And we incentivize people to get healthy. We even pay hourly wages if people go to inpatient treatment. So we incentivize that. So we need better data, because back to the people who don't care, if we have the better data and start tracking how we've made the overall community healthy and data subpoints, I think that more people might buy into our model. Right now, it's just like little happy village that I'm talking about, but people don't get it. But I think where we're at and where I want to work for is getting research grant funding. We've got some partners to show how a high protein diet helps with mental health and anxiety, how health and wellness programming helps with people living below the poverty line, and just all sorts of things that we're working on. And so that's what I want to work on. That's our next two big things that we're working on.
All right. So have the decision that the president made as far as removing the funding and all that, have Caridad directly felt?
No. So ironically, because we keep getting denied for grants, we don't have any federal funding. It'd be nice to have funding, but right now I'm thankful. So yeah, we don't.
Just to clear that.
We're the same. So right now we're just living off our rent, but we keep getting denied. We burned through our resources, so we're at the point where it's mission critical. If we don't get some grant funding or more money soon, we're gonna quite literally be out of business. So that's on my mind every day, and we keep applying for grants, but we keep getting denied. So I'm just hoping and praying.
So we need investors.
Investors and grantors. If people are willing to do grants or want to do those research grants, I have a collective study. I have our collective group. We've got 141 people here. They can research and study. They're living below the poverty line. I've got minorities. I've got seniors. I've got everything that checks all the boxes. And we've got doctors that want to partner with us. So I'm like, we've got all the things. So if we have any researchers out there.
So you need the individual people to apply for grants, or
more like foundations. We apply for the grants.
Okay.
Yeah, we apply, but we keep getting been denied for almost all last year, and now we're going on this year. Every grant we apply for, we get denied.
What is their reason for all the good stuff that Caridad is doing? Like, I can say it's done wonders. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. Like, why do they deny the grants?
So it's either because we have people that we don't require sobriety of our workers, which the rest of the real world doesn't either. People can do whatever they want when they go home. They can drink if they want to. So we don't require sobriety of our workers. It's not a transitional program. And then some people, they just don't understand the big picture vision. So that's kind of our 3 big reasons that we always get.
Now, you say you don't require the sobriety of, like, do you feel that if Caridad was to require that the sobriety, do you think that it would be taken away? It would be invading a person's, I'll say, what is it, free will as a human, or?
No, it's not even that. It's just when you apply for federal grants, you can't require sobriety of your clients, and so it disqualifies us for any grant funding from the feds.
You can't require?
Mm-mm. So we're the only program that isn't required to drug test our people, because 80% of our workforce is our homeless workers. But also we know when people come in, yeah, we give them a job, but they got a lot going on. So we'll help them work through things so they can get more stable. And then eventually what happens is people do get sober because they're doing all the good stuff to move their life along. And so even around here, we've got neighbors that have helped neighbors get sober. So the idea being, you build a healthy community, reintegrate people back into that, teach them how to be interacting in that healthy community, and everything gets better, which we've proven with our data.
So you don't, have you ever found yourself at one point in time thinking like maybe I should just say forget it and just start drug testing?
No. But I mean, think about it too. Even with legalized weed, we'd have no workers.
Yeah. I know.
If you even did no alcohol, we'd have no workers.
People want to work. You don't want to come here for sure. Like, this is a place you want to be. This is home. Like,
but I mean, you got to be sober. To the audience out there, I mean, you can't be at work acting a mess and acting a fool, like tweaking, running amok, falling off your stool drunk. No, that's not what this is about.
And me being, man, coming from where I came from, as far as dealing with, sobriety and all of that, I can honestly say, like, if you want it, it ain't gonna be nothing that's gonna stop you from stopping. Like, you gotta want it though.
Yep.
So.
Well, 9 times out of 10, the people that we have kicked out of the program have been so few. It's just for non-compliance. Like, they didn't pay their rent, they didn't meet with their case manager. Like, it's simple things that they could have avoided. Yeah, they might have been using. We didn't even kick them out for that. Or, I mean, for their violence, we have a no violence policy because we live in a community. But yeah, it's actually really hard to get kicked out of this program.
It's damn near impossible. Like,
well, no, it is. Don't do it.
I promise you, man. But boy, I'll be sick, y'all. I gotta be going. No. But man, like I just what would you like? Where do you go from here? Like, as far as just, I'm trying to figure out the right question to ask without offending nobody out there.
I think we're good.
We're good?
Yeah. As long as you're not swearing.
I think, okay. So where do you go as far as with the program, and you got people, we already got the setup, we got the food banks, we got the apartment. Is it just the Hebron, or is it an expansion? Like,
no, we're gonna expand, but we don't have any money right now. Like, we're going out of business every day. Like, right now I had to get an extension for our utilities, because I gotta pay payroll. So I mean, that's my reality every month. So I mean, it would be nice to be stable. If we could be stable, then we could really look at expanding. But right now we can't get our base stable, so we're stuck in a rut every day of like that hamster wheel, just trying to truly keep the lights on.
You so far advanced. That's crazy how you took what I was trying to say, like, right about my head and like answered it like you're like an alien or something. Because I couldn't find the words, but
I knew what you meant.
It's it's a blessing though that you a blessing too.
Yeah.
I'm just.
So, anything else before we sign off?
Team Caridad. This lady right here, y'all. I'm talking about like an inhuman. Like,
Hold on. How about any thoughts on? I just gave you the down and dirty of homelessness since like the Roman Empire to today. Any thoughts on that? That was a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. To be honest with you, I just want to shine a light. My bad. I ain't want to take the.
No, I was telling you.
But you like doggone. You like Superwoman, like for real. Like that's. And now, but as far as with the homelessness and all that, like I feel like if people was to start believing in people more, and was to start caring about people more, like, and really start reaching out. The smallest thing, like telling a person, speaking to a person, or,
saying hello,
it could change a person's whole. I'm talking about whole day, and it could, you never know, like it could change their life. If people would just start caring about people more and stop being so selfish and stop being so, I feel this world would be so much better.
Amen.
This world would be so much better, y'all. Like, we got to do better because we tearing this mug up down on this earth for sure.
I don't have anything else to add. That was a perfect ending. Thank you, Brother Nick.
Thank you.
I think this is the first of many where we're going to sit down and have a conversation.
And I'm going to get better.
You're good. All right. Bye, everybody. And cut. Good job. I think that was